The sky turned dark as the first ships appeared. They were unlike anything humans had ever seen, giant, gleaming vessels that seemed to swallow the sun. People across the world stopped in fear, staring upward as shadows spread over cities, forests, and oceans. The Zereth Dominion had arrived. At first, many hoped it was some strange natural phenomenon, a solar eclipse or a new type of storm. But those hopes vanished as the ships descended closer, revealing their true shape. Sharp metallic spires lined with strange lights that pulsed like the heartbeat of some living machine. The Dominion had come not as visitors but as conquerors. In major cities, alarms blared. Governments scrambled their forces, calling out their armies and air defenses. Fighter jets streaked across the skies, but the Zerath ships moved faster, smarter, and more precise. Missiles fired from human bases disintegrated before reaching their targets. Entire buildings shook and crumbled under weapons no one had seen before. Among the chaos, ordinary people ran for their lives. Families grabbed whatever they could carry, trying to escape the destruction. Streets became rivers of panic. Children clutched their parents' hands wide-eyed while parents whispered prayers they had never spoken before. The air smelled of burning metal and fear. In New York City, Captain Elias Ward watched from the rooftop of his apartment building. Once a soldier, now a teacher, he had faced challenges before, but nothing like this. His heart pounded as he saw his city fall, not to another nation, but to beings from another world. The Dominion's ships hovered over Central Park, beams of energy slicing through buildings as if they were made of paper. Elias knew resistance would be nearly impossible. The Zerath had weapons that humans could not understand, machines that moved with impossible speed and eyes everywhere, observing every movement. But even as despair threatened to overwhelm him, a small spark of determination flickered. Humans had survived catastrophes before. They had endured floods, fires, wars, and famine. If anyone could fight back, it would be humanity itself. Within days, the Dominion established control. Communications across Earth were jammed or rerouted through alien networks. Entire governments were dismantled. Cities became cages, their people stripped of freedom, watched constantly by drones and patrols. Human labor was organized into strict quotas. Anyone who resisted vanished, leaving only rumors and fear in their wake. In one of the first labor camps in what used to be Chicago, families were herded together. They were assigned tasks. Some cleared debris from destroyed buildings. Others worked in alien factories producing strange metals and energy cores. Elias observed the operation, noting the discipline and order of the aliens. They treated humans not as enemies, but as tools, predictable, replaceable tools. Despite the oppression, Elias noticed something important. Humans were not like other species the Dominion had conquered. While the aliens assumed fear would break them, humans whispered to each other in hidden corners, sharing ideas, memories, and hope. A child would hide a scrap of bread for another. A teacher would secretly teach math to small groups of children. A mechanic would leave tools in hidden places for others to find. Even in chains, humans found ways to resist in small, quiet ways. Elias gathered a few trusted friends in a hidden room beneath the ruins of a school. Among them were Dr. Lena Morales, a scientist who had studied advanced robotics, Jai Patel, a skilled mechanic and engineer, and Maria Santos, a former journalist who knew how to spread information quietly. Together they began planning. "The Dominion thinks we are weak," Elias said, his voice low but firm. "They think we will obey because they are strong. But they forget one thing: humans do not give up. We adapt, we think, we fight even when the odds are impossible." Lena nodded, adjusting her glasses. "They have numbers, technology, and power. But they do not understand creativity, resourcefulness, or teamwork. That is our advantage. They cannot predict what we might do." Jai leaned over a table scattered with blueprints and broken alien devices. "I've been studying their machines. They are advanced, yes, but they rely on routine and repetition. We can disrupt them. We can make them doubt themselves." Maria spoke last, her voice steady. "And we must remind people that they are not alone. If the Dominion thinks they can silence hope, they are wrong. Word of resistance spreads faster than fear. One spark can ignite a fire across the world." Their plans were small at first. They sabotaged alien vehicles, hid essential supplies, and left false signals in alien systems. Every action, though minor, felt monumental. Each small success emboldened others. Humans began to realize that they could resist even under the shadow of a conqueror. Meanwhile, the Zerath Dominion watched with growing frustration. They expected humans to obey, to bend, and to submit. Instead, they saw patterns of defiance emerging, small at first, then spreading. Reports came of laborers disappearing, only to reappear with stolen equipment. Factories produced slightly altered alien machinery that malfunctioned at critical moments. The Dominion had underestimated a fundamental truth. Humans were unpredictable. At night, Elias would stand on rooftops, watching the dim stars through the haze of smoke and lights from the alien occupation. He remembered Earth before the invasion: forests, oceans, bustling cities. He remembered laughter, music, and freedom. The memory gave him strength. He could not allow the Dominion to erase humanity's spirit. In one daring mission, Elias and his team infiltrated an alien supply depot. Using clever traps and distractions, they managed to acquire alien tools and weapons. It was a small victory, but it had immense significance. For the first time, humans felt that they were not only surviving, they could fight back. The rebellion was still fragile, barely a whisper among millions. But it had begun. Across the world, other humans saw the spark and quietly joined. Farmers hid food from alien quotas. Engineers modified alien machines to work for them. Children learned to read maps and codes in secret. Ordinary people were becoming extraordinary. Elias knew the road ahead would be dangerous. The Dominion was powerful and ruthless. Entire generations could be lost if the rebellion failed. But he also knew something no alien could comprehend. Human courage was limitless. As long as hope existed, there was a chance for victory. As the first part of Earth's story under Dominion rule came to a close, humanity had learned its first lesson. Even when bound by chains, the human spirit could never be fully broken, and in the shadows of oppression, a quiet resistance began to take root, a resistance that would one day challenge the mightiest force the galaxy had ever known. The morning light barely reached the streets of the occupied cities. Alien patrols moved through the ruins with mechanical precision, scanning every corner for signs of human disobedience. Humans moved cautiously, whispering to each other, avoiding the cold eyes of the Zerath drones. But even under this oppressive watch, small acts of defiance began to ripple through the enslaved population. Captain Elias Ward met with his team in the hidden basement beneath the ruined school. Maps and scraps of alien machinery were spread across the table. Elias's eyes scanned the room, filled with determination. "We cannot fight them directly, not yet," Elias said. "We are too few, too weak. But we can fight smart. We can show them that humans are not predictable, not obedient, and not weak." Dr. Lena Morales adjusted her glasses and leaned closer to the table. "I've been studying the alien patrols and their machines. They are fast and strong, but their systems rely on repetition. They expect humans to follow rules. If we break their patterns, even in small ways, we can create chaos without confronting them directly." Jai Patel nodded. "I've already started modifying some of the alien devices we captured. Small changes, removing a part here, reversing a connection there, can make machines fail at critical moments. They won't understand why, and it will give us time." Maria Santos spoke quietly but firmly, "And we need people to spread the message. Not loudly, not where the aliens can see. Just small groups, whispers, notes left in secret. Humans need to know they are not alone. That's how hope grows." Their first act of organized sabotage was simple but effective. Elias and his team targeted a supply route. Humans had been forced to carry heavy crates of alien materials from one side of the city to another. Using small hidden tools, Elias' team damaged the wheels of the cargo vehicles. The crates toppled, scattering strange metals and glowing cores across the street. Alien patrols arrived minutes later, confused and frustrated. Word spread quickly among the oppressed workers. If one group could interfere with alien operations, then maybe others could too. Small victories like this encouraged humans to think creatively. Children helped by hiding tools, and older workers used their knowledge of streets and buildings to evade patrols. The Dominion began to notice patterns of disruption, but they could not predict them. Humans were unpredictable. One evening, Elias gathered his team again. "We need to escalate," he said. "Sabotage is good, but we need to plan something bigger. Something that shows the Dominion that humans are not tools. They are not cattle. We need a symbol." Dr. Morales smiled faintly. "I have an idea. There's an alien energy station on the outskirts of the city. It powers a large part of their operations here. If we can disrupt it, even for a few hours, it will cause confusion and the humans will see that change is possible. The plan was dangerous. The station was heavily guarded, patrolled by both drones and armed alien soldiers. But Elias believed in his team. "We will go at night," he said. "We will move quietly, and we will succeed because we must." As the team prepared, humans across the city began taking smaller risks on their own. Farmers in the outskirts hid food from alien quotas, passing it secretly to families in the city. Teachers held hidden lessons for children, teaching them not only reading and math, but strategy and problem-solving. The small acts of resistance spread, building confidence and courage. When the night came, Elias's team moved with precision. They crept through darkened streets, avoiding drones, scanning lights, and patrols' footsteps. Every shadow, every wall, every broken building became an advantage. Jai Patel led the way, using his knowledge of alien devices to disable security sensors silently. Reaching the energy station, they discovered it was even larger than expected. Glowing cores hummed with power, wires snaking across the floor like veins. Alien soldiers moved in precise patterns, unaware of the humans approaching from hidden angles. Using carefully timed distractions, the team created confusion among the guards. Dr. Morales and Jai worked quickly to plant devices that disrupted the station's core operations. Machines sputtered and sparks flew. Alarms blared, but the humans were already gone, disappearing into the shadows before the aliens could respond. When the city woke the next morning, large parts of the alien power network were offline. Vehicles stalled, factories slowed, and communication systems faltered. Humans watched in awe. They had seen humans take back control, even if briefly. The Dominion scrambled to repair the damage, but for the first time, their control over Earth felt fragile. Elias and his team became symbols of hope. People whispered their names in hidden corners, sharing stories of courage. Children drew pictures of humans overcoming the alien machines, and even adults dared to speak openly of resistance. Small groups formed in secret across the city, inspired by the audacity of the night raid. But the Dominion did not respond with panic. They responded with strategy. Alien commanders studied every disruption carefully, trying to anticipate future human actions. Patrols increased, punishments became stricter, and drones scanned streets with greater intensity. They underestimated human creativity once, and they could not afford to do it again. Despite the increased pressure, humans adapted. They developed new ways to communicate secretly, passing information using signals, symbols, and hidden notes. Children were taught to spot drones and guards acting as lookouts. Farmers and engineers shared resources discreetly. Humanity's network of resistance began to grow, invisible to the Dominion but stronger with each passing day. Elias knew the fight had only just begun. "This is only the beginning," he told his team one evening. "We have shown them that we can strike back. But if we are to survive and to win, we must grow stronger. We must unite every human who is willing to fight, and we must show the Dominion that they made a mistake by underestimating us." Days turned into weeks, and the rebellion spread beyond the first city. In Europe, Asia, Africa, and the Americas, humans whispered and acted in hidden ways. Each small victory inspired others. Factories malfunctioned, transport routes were sabotaged, and alien patrols reported unexpected resistance at multiple locations. The Dominion realized that they had underestimated the human spirit. They had conquered many worlds before, enslaving countless species, but none had fought with the combination of courage, intelligence, and unity that humans displayed. For the first time, the aliens faced unpredictability, and fear began to creep into their calculations. Elias and his team continued to plan, always careful, always clever. They trained new recruits, teaching them not only skills but also the principles of resistance, patience, observation, and creativity. Humans learned to work together in ways the Dominion could not imagine, using every resource, every idea, and every hidden advantage to survive and fight back. One night, as Elias watched the stars through a crack in a ruined building, he felt a sense of cautious optimism. The Dominion might control the skies, the cities, and the weapons, but they could not control the human mind, the human heart, or the human will. And as long as even a single spark of hope burned in humanity, the fight was not over. The spark of rebellion had been lit. And across Earth, even in the darkest corners of the occupied cities, humans began to see that freedom was possible. Not tomorrow, not next week, but someday soon. They were no longer just surviving. They were learning to fight, to resist, and to reclaim their world. The Dominion had enslaved Earth, but they had awakened something far more powerful than machines or weapons. They had awakened the human spirit, and it would not be broken. The rebellion had grown from whispers to actions. Across continents, small groups of humans worked quietly but determinedly, sabotaging alien operations, hiding supplies, and sharing information. The Dominion had begun to realize that this was no ordinary species. Humans were unpredictable, clever, and persistent. Captain Elias Ward moved through the ruins of what had once been London. Buildings were shattered, streets filled with rubble, yet life persisted. Markets for hidden supplies operated in shadows. Children laughed softly while learning maps and codes in secret classrooms. Even under occupation, humans found ways to survive and to fight. "This is the moment," Elias said to his team. "We cannot just react anymore. We have to take control of the battle." Dr. Lena Morales nodded. "We've learned their patterns. Their weapons, patrols, and ships are powerful, but they rely on order. Chaos is our ally." Jai Patel tapped his fingers on a table covered with blueprints of alien machinery. "We can strike key points that they depend on. Factories, communication hubs, supply lines. Disrupt those and we force them to react. That gives us the advantage." Maria Santos looked at the maps and thought carefully. "And if we unite more humans, we can hit multiple targets at once. The Dominion won't expect it. They'll think we are still small, scattered, but we will be coordinated. That's when we start winning." The first step was intelligence. Humans had begun observing the alien patrols and machinery with careful attention. They recorded patterns, rotations, and schedules, using binoculars, cameras, and even children as lookouts. Every detail counted. They learned which ships carried weapons, which patrols were slow to react, and how drones communicated. Using this knowledge, the humans launched a series of coordinated strikes. Factories producing alien devices were sabotaged, causing explosions that stunned the occupiers. Supply routes were blocked, slowing the flow of weapons and food. Alien patrols were misled with false signals, sending them in circles while humans achieved their objectives elsewhere. Each success inspired new recruits. Ordinary people, farmers, teachers, engineers, and children, joined the growing network of resistance. They learned not just to survive, but to fight intelligently. Humanity was becoming a force that could not be ignored. The Dominion responded, but not as effectively as they had hoped. They increased patrols and imposed stricter rules, but their own machines began to fail under the pressure of repeated sabotage. Alien commanders grew frustrated. Humans acted in ways that no logic or algorithm could predict. Elias knew that they had to escalate further. A major strike on an alien command center could change the balance of power, but it was dangerous. The command center was heavily defended, with advanced drones and elite soldiers. Only careful planning and teamwork could make success possible. Dr. Morales and Jai Patel spent days analyzing the center. "If we can disrupt the main energy core," Lena said, "it will disable defenses across the city. That will give humans a window to act elsewhere. It will be the turning point." The plan required precision. Humans would move in groups from multiple directions, using secret tunnels, abandoned buildings, and hidden routes. Elias led one group directly toward the energy core. Others coordinated smaller distractions and diversions, confusing the aliens. The night of the operation, tension filled the air. Humans moved quietly, hearts pounding but minds focused. Every step counted. Every mistake could cost lives. As Elias's team approached the energy core, alarms suddenly blared. A patrol had noticed movement, but humans adapted quickly. They used smoke, mirrors, and clever misdirections to slip past the guards. Jai worked on a panel, carefully rewiring connections while Dr. Morales guided him. Sparks flew, machines sputtered, and for the first time in weeks, human ingenuity overpowered alien technology. The energy core faltered, sending cascading failures through the command center. Drones malfunctioned and patrols were thrown into confusion. Humans capitalized immediately, disabling weapons and communication systems. When the mission ended, humans vanished into the shadows before the Dominion could recover. The city was shaken, but humans celebrated quietly. They had won a major victory, not just by brute force, but through strategy, patience, and intelligence. Word of the success spread quickly. Across the world, humans dared to hope again. Resistance cells became bolder. More cities reported sabotage and defiance. Even small acts, hidden messages, tampered machines, food secretly delivered to those in need, were acts of rebellion. The human spirit burned brighter than ever. The Dominion, however, was far from defeated. Alien commanders began sending reinforcements and deploying advanced drones to maintain control. But their own fear was growing. They had always relied on dominance and fear to control species. Humans were different. Humans adapted, learned, and fought back in ways that the Dominion could not calculate. Elias gathered his team in a hidden safe house. They thought they could control us with fear, he said. But fear alone does not break the human spirit. Every act of defiance, every clever strike, every life saved strengthens us. We are stronger now than when this all began, Lena nodded, and they are beginning to realize it. Humans are unpredictable. They think they can plan every move, but we do not follow patterns. We think, we adapt. We survive. Maria added, the more humans see success, the more they join. Ordinary people are becoming extraordinary. Engineers, farmers, students, they are all part of the fight. And the Dominion cannot stop that. They can only react, and reacting is what gives us the edge. Jai looked at the maps, plotting new targets. We can hit multiple locations simultaneously. Factories, patrol hubs, supply lines. Each strike weakens them and strengthens us. We need to keep the momentum. As days passed, the rebellion grew stronger. Humans became skilled in guerrilla tactics, using speed, stealth, and creativity to outmaneuver the aliens. They learned to use the ruins of their cities as traps, confusing patrols and turning once familiar streets into deadly mazes for the occupiers. Even children played a role, acting as lookouts, messengers, and spotters. Farmers hid resources while engineers created improvised weapons. The human network became a web, growing more resilient with every strike and every act of courage. The Dominion tried to adapt, sending elite soldiers and faster drones. But each new strategy humans encountered was met with counter-strategies, clever improvisation, and sheer determination. What the aliens considered chaos was in fact human intelligence and teamwork. One day, Elias addressed a secret gathering of resistance leaders. We have reached a turning point, he said. We have proven that humans can fight and win. But this is only the beginning. We must unite, plan carefully, and strike at the heart of their operations. If we continue, we can change the course of this war. The Dominion has made a mistake by underestimating us. They will learn sooner or later that humans do not bow, do not submit, and never surrender. Across Earth, humans now dared to dream of freedom. Each victory, no matter how small, reminded them that their spirit was alive. They had endured loss, fear, and oppression, but they had also discovered strength, unity, and courage they never knew existed. The turning point was clear. Humans were no longer hiding in the shadows. They were becoming a force that could challenge the mightiest conquerors in the galaxy. The Dominion had enslaved Earth, but they had awakened a resistance that would not stop until freedom was regained. And so, the spark of rebellion grew into a flame. It spread from city to city, continent to continent. Humans learned to fight smarter, think faster, and adapt to challenges that no other species had faced. The Dominion may have ruled the skies, but on the ground, humans were no longer slaves. They were warriors, strategists, and survivors. For the first time in history, humanity understood something profound. The strength of the human spirit could not be measured by weapons, numbers, or fear. It was measured by courage, intelligence, unity, and the refusal to give up. And as the turning point came to pass, the message was clear. Earth would not remain enslaved. Humans were rising, and the Dominion would have to face a challenge they could not ignore. The skies over Earth were no longer silent. Alien ships hovered in anticipation, scanning the cities below for signs of rebellion. The Zareth Dominion had grown wary. For the first time, they understood that the humans were not simply surviving. They were fighting back intelligently, strategically, and without fear. Captain Elias Ward stood on a hill overlooking the outskirts of what remained of Paris. Smoke rose from ruined buildings, and distant sounds of battle echoed through the streets. He looked at his team, each member carrying a mix of determination, exhaustion, and anticipation. The Dominion thinks they can break us with fear, Elias said, voice firm. But fear alone cannot stop a human who knows hope. Tonight we strike at their heart. Dr. Lena Morales studied the alien network on her portable device. We have identified their central command hub. If we can take it down, it will disrupt every major operation in this region. Their drones, patrols, and communication lines will fail. We can create chaos on a scale they cannot control. Jai Patel added, "We've modified alien ships and devices for our use. We can hit them faster and smarter than they expect. But we must coordinate carefully. One mistake could cost lives." Maria Santos, ever cautious, reminded the group, "And we must remember, civilians are counting on us. Our strikes must be precise. The more humans see the Dominion fail, the stronger the resistance grows. But any unnecessary risk could undo all we've built." The team moved through the city under cover of darkness. Ruined streets, once silent and empty, were now filled with hidden humans, watchers, messengers, and guides. Every building, alley, and underground passage became part of a living map of resistance. Humans had transformed the ruins into a strategic advantage. As they approached the command hub, alarms blared. Drones patrolled the skies, moving faster than ever. But humans were prepared. They used improvised cloaking devices, smoke screens, and false signals to confuse the aliens. Each step was calculated, every move precise. Inside the hub, Elias's team faced the most heavily armed soldiers they had yet encountered. Alien weapons hummed with energy, firing beams that could destroy concrete walls with ease. But humans did not hesitate. They used speed, teamwork, and clever distractions. Dr. Morales disabled key systems, while Jai used captured alien devices against the enemy. Explosions rocked the command hub, sending sparks and smoke into the air. Humans moved swiftly, disabling communication channels and taking control of vital systems. The once invincible hub faltered under human ingenuity. Patrols outside became disorganized, drones malfunctioned, and the Dominion soldiers struggled to respond. When the hub was finally secured, Elias and his team vanished before reinforcements could arrive. The city below erupted in action. Resistance groups, coordinated by the disruption, struck alien positions across the region. Factories, supply routes, and energy stations were all targeted simultaneously. The Dominion, confident in their control, was thrown into chaos. For the first time, humans saw the extent of their impact. Cities that had been under alien control for months now experienced moments of freedom. Small victories, like reclaiming key streets or disrupting supply lines, were celebrated quietly, but passionately. Humans were no longer merely surviving, they were winning. The Dominion, however, was not defeated. Alien commanders scrambled to regain control, sending elite forces and advanced drones. But each new strategy was met with unexpected human ingenuity. The aliens realized that their most sophisticated machines and tactics could not predict the creativity of the human mind. Elias addressed his team after the first major victories. "This is the moment we have been preparing for," he said. The Dominion believed in their own invincibility. They thought Earth was a prize already won. They did not understand that humans do not give up, do not obey without thought, and do not surrender. Today they are learning the truth. Dr. Morales added, "And it is not just about weapons or machines. It is about strategy, unity, and courage. Humans are combining every skill they have, every bit of knowledge, every ounce of determination. That is something no machine or alien can defeat." Across the world, similar actions unfolded. In Tokyo, hidden human groups disabled drones and reclaimed key streets. In Rio de Janeiro, civilians disrupted alien energy stations, causing temporary blackouts that hampered patrols. In Cairo, engineers and students sabotaged factories producing alien devices, sending shockwaves through the Dominion's supply network. Humans had become a force that the Dominion could not fully comprehend. They adapted faster than anticipated, communicated through networks the aliens could not trace, and used the ruins of their own cities as weapons. Every failure of the Dominion strengthened the resolve of humans, yet the cost was high. Lives were lost in every strike, and fear remained a constant companion. Elias knew the struggle was far from over. "Victory is not guaranteed," he said quietly to himself. "But we are proving that they can be challenged, that they can be stopped, and that they are not invincible." As the days passed, the rebellion spread further. Humans coordinated strikes across continents, disrupting major alien operations simultaneously. The Dominion's fleet, once a symbol of unshakable power, began to falter. Supply lines were cut, communication networks failed, and key leaders were targeted. The aliens, who had treated humans as tools, realized too late that their arrogance had been their weakness. Elias and his team planned a final strike on the Dominion's regional headquarters. It was a massive operation requiring careful coordination, precise timing, and absolute trust among all participants. Every resistance cell was involved, each contributing in its own way. Distractions, sabotage, intelligence, and strategic attacks. The night of the operation arrived. Humans moved silently, swiftly, and with purpose. They navigated ruined streets, hidden tunnels, and abandoned buildings, avoiding patrols and drones. Each group had a role, and every role was crucial. Inside the headquarters, chaos erupted as humans struck from multiple directions. Drones malfunctioned, energy systems failed, and patrols were thrown into confusion. The Dominion soldiers, trained to control and dominate, found themselves outmaneuvered by humans at every turn. By dawn, the headquarters had fallen. Humans emerged victorious, having achieved what many thought impossible. The Dominion's pride, built on centuries of conquest, lay shattered. Their forces were disorganized, their machines unreliable, and their confidence shaken. Elias looked out over the city, smoke rising from the ruins but hope burning brighter than ever. "They thought they could enslave us without consequence," he said. "They thought they were the masters of Earth. But today, they have learned that humans cannot be broken, cannot be controlled, and cannot be defeated by fear alone." Across the globe, similar scenes played out. The Dominion struggled to respond, but humans continued to strike, coordinate, and reclaim territory. The balance of power had shifted. What had begun as small acts of defiance had grown into a global movement capable of challenging even the most advanced alien force. The fall of the Dominion's pride was not just a military victory, it was a psychological one. Humans had proven to themselves and to their oppressors that they could rise against impossible odds. Every strike, every act of courage, every life risked had contributed to a growing realization. Freedom was possible, and the Dominion's control was not absolute. Elias gathered his team one final time that night. "We have shown them that humans are not tools, not slaves, and not predictable," he said. "But the war is not over. We must continue because the Dominion will not give up easily. They may retreat, regroup, or try new strategies. But we now have something they do not: confidence, unity, and the knowledge that we can win." Dr. Morales, Jai, and Maria nodded, each understanding the weight of the moment. The fall of the Dominion's pride was a turning point, but it was also a reminder of the challenges ahead. Humanity had taken its first major victories, but the final struggle for freedom and survival was yet to come. The flames of rebellion spread across Earth, illuminating the path toward liberation. Humans had learned that their greatest weapons were not alien guns or machines, but their minds, hearts, and spirits. They were creative, courageous, and unstoppable. And as the sun rose over the ruins of the conquered cities, one truth became clear. The Dominion had underestimated Earth. They had chosen to enslave a species that refused to bow, and now they were paying the price. Humans were rising, and the Dominion's pride, once unshakable, had fallen. The stage was set for the final confrontation. Humanity, united and emboldened, prepared to reclaim the world and ensure that no alien force would ever see Earth as a prize to be conquered again. The Dominion fleet hung over Earth like a dark shadow, their massive ships blocking the sun. Once their presence had meant fear, despair, and obedience. Now it meant challenge, resistance, and the certainty that humans would fight to the last breath. Captain Elias Ward stood on a high ridge overlooking the ruined city below. Smoke curled into the sky, the remnants of recent battles still glowing faintly. Beside him were Dr. Lena Morales, Jai Patel, and Maria Santos. Together, they had led humanity from the first whispers of resistance to a global uprising. Now they faced the final challenge: defeating the Dominion's fleet and ensuring Earth's freedom. "The Dominion believes they can strike us down with overwhelming force," Elias said, voice steady. "But they have forgotten what humans are capable of. They have underestimated creativity, courage, and unity. Today we prove that Earth is not theirs to conquer." Lena adjusted her portable device, scanning the alien fleet. "Their main ships rely on central command networks. If we can disrupt them, even partially, it will give us the chance to strike directly." Jai nodded. "We've prepared modified ships and weapons from what we captured. Humans know these streets, these skies, and these technologies better than the aliens do. Tonight, we take the fight to them." Maria spoke quietly yet firmly. "We need to remember every human who fights, every act of courage contributes to this moment. The Dominion may be strong, but they are not invincible. We are stronger together. The operation was carefully planned. Humans would strike from multiple directions, targeting key alien ships while also disabling communication networks and energy systems. The strategy relied on precision, timing, and the creativity that the Dominion could not anticipate. As night fell, humans moved through the shadows. Modified ships glided silently through ruined cities and forests. Drones, captured and reprogrammed, flew ahead, scouting alien positions. On the ground, resistance teams prepared to disable weapons and energy nodes. Every group had a role, and every role was critical. The first strike hit a massive supply ship hovering near the Pacific. Humans had infiltrated its systems and planted improvised devices. Sparks flew across its hull, engines faltered, and weapons malfunctioned. Alien soldiers scrambled to regain control, but human ingenuity had already moved them to the next target. Across Europe, Africa, and Asia, humans struck simultaneously. Drones jammed alien communications. Supply lines were destroyed, and patrols were misled with false signals. The Dominion fleet, though massive and technologically advanced, began to falter under the unexpected coordination of human forces. In the skies above New York, Elias piloted a captured alien ship, maneuvering with skill and precision. He targeted a command vessel, dodging energy beams and deploying devices to disrupt its systems. Lena monitored the ship's energy flow, guiding him through weak points. Jai prepared explosives to disable the vessel's core, while Maria coordinated resistance teams on the ground. The battle was fierce. Alien weapons blazed through the sky, destroying buildings and streets. But humans adapted, using speed, intelligence, and teamwork to outmaneuver the attackers. Every strike was calculated. Every action relied on observation, ingenuity, and courage. Finally, the command vessel faltered. Its systems overloaded, engines failed, and it crashed into the ocean with a massive explosion. Humans cheered quietly from hidden positions, knowing the significance of their victory. The Dominion's central control was broken. Their fleet, once a symbol of invincible power, was now in chaos. Elias and his team moved quickly. They struck other ships, disabled energy nodes, and ensured that no Dominion force could recover quickly. Humans coordinated across continents, proving their intelligence, determination, and unity. What the aliens had once considered a simple planet to conquer had become a battlefield where humans were masters of strategy, adaptation, and courage. On the ground, humans reclaimed cities and towns. Patrols were disabled or captured. Factories and energy stations were secured. Children, engineers, teachers, and farmers all contributed in small but meaningful ways. Each human played a role in the liberation, showing that even ordinary individuals could achieve extraordinary feats when united. The Dominion, now realizing the full scale of their mistake, attempted to retreat, but humans anticipated it. Modified ships intercepted escape routes, and hidden resistance teams blocked reinforcements. The alien fleet was systematically dismantled, and the once mighty conquerors were forced to surrender or flee into space. Elias addressed the humans gathered in liberated cities. They thought they could enslave us, he said. They thought they could break our spirit, control our minds, and take our world. But they were wrong. We are humans. We adapt, we fight, and we never give up. Today, Earth is free. Cheers and cries of relief filled the air. Humans embraced each other, tears and smiles mixing as the reality of freedom sank in. The Dominion, once proud and confident, had learned a harsh truth. Humans could not be enslaved. Even as victory spread, Elias knew that vigilance was necessary. Humanity had faced destruction and had survived, but other alien civilizations might now see Earth as a force to respect or fear. Humans needed to be prepared to ensure that their freedom could never again be taken for granted. Dr. Morales, standing beside Elias, looked at the sky. They underestimated us, she said. But now the galaxy will know humans are not prey. We are clever, courageous, and united. We will be respected or feared, but never ignored again. Jai smiled, wiping sweat from his brow. We have fought hard for this. Every life lost, every risk taken has brought us here. And now we can rebuild. Not just our cities, but our spirit, our freedom, and our future, Maria added. And we will teach the next generations the lessons we learned. Courage, unity, and creativity. That is what makes humans stronger than any conqueror, stronger than any machine, stronger than any empire. Across the liberated world, humans began rebuilding. Cities rose from ruins, streets were cleared, and life slowly returned to normal. But humanity was forever changed. They had faced annihilation, survived impossible odds, and defeated a powerful alien empire. Their spirit had proven stronger than any technology, their unity stronger than any force. The Dominion, defeated and humiliated, sent what remained of their fleet away into space. Survivors begged for mercy, unable to understand how a species they considered weak and primitive had overcome them. Humans, having won the battle but not seeking unnecessary revenge, allowed the aliens to retreat, sending a clear message. Earth would no longer be enslaved, but it would not tolerate tyranny. Elias stood on a rebuilt tower in New York City looking out over the streets below. Children played openly. Engineers worked on repairs and families rebuilt homes. Humanity had survived and it had grown stronger because of it. The galaxy has seen the strength of humans, Elias said quietly to himself. They will not forget us. And we will not forget what we learned. That even in the darkest times, courage, unity, and intelligence can change the fate of the world. As night fell, the stars shone brighter than ever. Humans looked up at the sky with pride, knowing that Earth was free and that their future among the stars was now secure. The Dominion had chosen to enslave a species they thought weak, but now, that same species had proven that no empire could control the human spirit. The story of Earth's survival became legend across the galaxy. Humans once enslaved were now celebrated as warriors, thinkers, and survivors. Other civilizations watched carefully, realizing that humanity was not a species to be conquered lightly, and on Earth, Captain Elias Ward and his team knew the truth that no alien could ever take away. Humans are unstoppable when united, fearless when determined, and boundless in their creativity and courage. The chains were broken, the conquerors defeated, and humanity had reclaimed its world. For the first time in centuries, humans stood free. And the galaxy knew. Earth was no longer prey, it was a force to respect, a civilization to watch, and a species that would never again bow to tyranny. The battle was over. But the story of humanity's courage, ingenuity, and unity would echo across the stars for generations to come.